We are going to talk about the affordable living crisis, especially here in Southern California. My guest, Moore, is living in Orange County. I bounce between San Diego and LA. There's a huge problem here, and I know it's everywhere. In some places, it's global. Otherwise, everyone would own their own home. So we're going to talk about that. But before we do, let me turn this over to Moore real quickly. He's going to give you 20-second to 30-second background on who he is and what he's doing.
Thanks, Marky Mark. I appreciate it. My name is Moore. I am the CEO and founder of a company called Relli. That's how it's spelled. Feel free to check it out. And basically, we're building the stock market of real estate. We're building a place where companies can sell shares to average retail consumers to help them build their diversified portfolio, invest with as little as $100 into all different types of real estate. And we're helping bolster small business in America by giving access to those small to medium-sized business owners that are real estate developers that need access to capital so they can build more property and we can put American land in American hands.
This episode sponsored by my company, Smartblocks, where you can go and tokenize your real estate if you're a developer, or if you're watching from anywhere in the world, you can buy fractions in real estate for as little as $25 a token. Check it out, Smartblocks.xyz. All right, so if you're the average Gen Zer or most of Gen X, what's the good news about what's right around the corner and about what you're doing, what we're working on? First of all, define the problem. And for me, it's nobody can afford shit here in Southern California. I know there's other places where people feel the same. What else do you see as problems, going into the future here?
I think a lot of people are getting priced out, myself included, right? I'm now four-time startup founder, and I've bet everything on the project multiple times. And there's been multiple times where I've wanted to go buy something, and I'm priced out of the market, and I feel the problem firsthand. So what's happening right now is that there's just a lot of institutions buying up a lot of property, which is driving up the price of those properties, making it really difficult for people to either get into their first home or apartment or whatever that is, or get into their first investment property. So what I'm excited about in regards to the market as a whole and what's happening is that there's a huge boom of different companies that are trying to fractionalize real estate and give people opportunities to get involved with less capital, specifically less than $100 or more, right? So super easy to get involved. And I think the goal for us is, how do we get people educated on real estate, have some skin in the game without necessarily having your entire life savings in a piece of property, right? And then slowly but surely get to a place where not only can we support SMB, mid-market size developers, small businesses across the country in building more real estate so there's more supply, but also educating the average Joe, Gen Z millennial on what it's like to buy real estate, what it's like to invest in real estate, and help them evolve to a place where they can actually buy their own real estate as opposed to participate in a fractional way in somebody else's.
Yeah. So why even bother? Why, if you can't live in it, you can't use it, why even bother with investing in fractional real estate if you're Gen Z?
Well, I mean, look, historically, real estate has been the tried and true long-term asset for Americans for 100 plus years. And it's personally, it's actually really close to my heart because my parents came here as immigrants. I'm actually an immigrant from Israel. I came to this country at 4 months old, and my dad has worked his butt off. But, what really gave them the opportunity to create some freedom was becoming landlords, right? They went and bought their own property, and over the last 25 years, they've built a little portfolio of property that brings them passive income on a monthly basis where they can go and retire and have income coming in without having to worry about a 401k or a pension or any sort of nonsense that isn't consistent and doesn't actually have ownership within the people that are getting that capital, right? So for me, it's really near and dear to my heart because I'm diversified in stocks and cryptos and all the things, but getting into real estate without having 100, 200, 300, $500,000 is really hard. So how do we create that opportunity for average Americans to participate in the number one long-term asset in history for Americans?
Yeah. So you see it as I do, is it's like a slow accumulation of assets. And by the way, and I think you'll be able to do this too, because the DeFi markets don't care if it's fractionalized or tokenized, but You could then accumulate all these assets. You could borrow against them in these DeFi markets and then use that as the down payment to buy your own house. And you don't have to do that for that long, 2, 3 years, and you've got enough assets to borrow against, or just sell. You can just sell them to go buy your own house and live in your own house, or just rent. I know Grant Cardone's a big fan of this. I'm not. I personally have made so much money on buying houses and living in them and then selling them, but maybe because we're in Southern California, I don't know. But you could just rent and then build a portfolio. Our calculations have shown that if you invest $1,000 a month, and I know that sounds like a lot, but $1,000 a month for 10 years and reinvest the dividends and reinvest any sales that take place, you'll have a $20,000 a month passive income. That's not too shabby. And that's in 10 years. So if you're 25, 35 looking at this, when you hit 35, 45, having a $20,000 a month passive income, that's pretty damn good. It's only going to grow because you're still in real estate. That's not a bad deal, folks. So
I would agree. I would agree. I mean, look, think about what the average American makes in the United States of America. It's about $50,000 a year,
I know.
right? If you're talking about $20,000 a month in passive income within 20 years of just
10
consistent
years.
investing, 10 years even,
10
half the
years.
time, right?
Yep.
You're talking about 5 times the average American's salary.
Yeah.
You can
I
live
know,
a
but
pretty good life off $250,000 a year.
totally. I mean, if you can hack it, $1,000 a month is a lot of money to a lot of people. Not much here in Southern California, but to most people, it's a lot of money. But you will, I promise you, you will be very, very happy that you did. You'll have the FU money. It's not really retirement money, at least here, but other parts of the United States, it is. So if you were just to dedicate yourself to that, just using our platforms, you can get there.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's about long term, right? It's about how do you look at the long term scheme of things and say, okay, what can I do to set myself apart and to give myself freedom? And freedom comes through owning assets, period. And if you want to find the safest assets to own, you buy real estate. That's how you get it. It's how you do it, That's just the way to do it.
I mean, so many people, especially today, these Gen Zers and Gen Xers and every millennials, whatever, they look at short-term gains with these meme coins and all these things. Most people, I'd say 95% lose money on that. You ask anybody. They're the professionals, the whales, the people that are manipulating the markets that make all the money. Big headlines with these meme coins, but trust me, in the long run, you're going to lose. It's gambling. There's nothing behind it. So it's not as sexy, although I think tokenized real estate's pretty sexy, but it is backed by something, and backed by something has always 100% gone up. Sure, there's some projects that fail and you lose money, but overall, because you're creating a portfolio of tokenized assets, it should and must go up over time. So that's why it's safe for investment. You can always trade out of it.
Agreed. And Mark, look, I think what we've really done is we've done a disservice to our younger generations. And we've shown them trend after trend after trend of things that fall apart in 2 to 3 years. Right. And sometimes you get a big win, and that's always huge, right? You always want to try to find an opportunity to diversify the portfolio and take a couple big risks. But if you look at any smart, wealthy person and what they've created for themselves in the long term, they have a diversified portfolio, and usually that diversified portfolio has a basis in hard assets, right? Either whether it be investments in companies that are indestructible, like insurance companies and utility companies, things that if literally the world falls apart, we cannot not have these items, right?
Right.
Or in hard assets like real estate. So it's always good to play the risk game, but you want to do it in a smart way. And I think the opportunity here is to educate our investors, our new investors to the market, on how to diversify your portfolio, how to create a strategy that gives you the opportunity for quick incremental growth, exponential growth even, and long-term incremental growth from the perspective of hard assets and safe investments.
Couldn't
So I
agree
think
more.
that's the game. That's the name of the game right here, is how do we
I,
find a way to educate?
and that's real estate's really the only game for me that's made consistent long-term income for me as well. So let's shift to your platform. Tell us about what you're doing. Tell us about what you're looking for, what your vision of the future is.
Yeah, happy to. So Relli is the stock market of real estate. And just like any other stock market, what we're doing is creating a place where companies can sell shares to average Joe retail consumers. The investors, average Joes that can invest with as little as $100, can invest in all different types of real estate, singular individual properties, everything from residential all the way up to industrial and everything in between. REITs and funds, which are portfolios of property that are managed by highly qualified fund managers, as well as debt-based securities like hard money loans and things that pay a consistent return, maybe a smaller return, but a consistent return that you can participate in. And on the other side, the people that are getting this money, that are turning this profit, creating cash flow, and giving you an ROI are SMBs, so small to medium-sized businesses across the country. These are developers that have a track record of 10, 20, 30 years of producing high-quality returns for their investors. And we're shifting their strategy from a accredited only strategy to a 330 million American retail strategy where everybody can participate with as little as $100. These guys get to reduce their cost of capital, meaning that our housing will be able to start stagnating in cost, right? Giving us an opportunity to start buying some of that real estate as Gen Zs and millennials, but also giving a place for them to help scale their business and put some money in the hands of average business owners instead of huge institutions that are taking over the marketplace. So really, we're just trying to create a win-win here where the investors can participate with a little bit of cash, start building their knowledge about real estate, start building themselves up and diversifying their portfolio. And these small businesses can grow because if we know anything about the United States, small business is the name of the game. That's how we've grown our entire
And
nation.
we'll continue
That's
to.
what we're based on. Absolutely. So how do we support them? So that's what we've created. We're really excited about it. If anybody is interested in investing in real estate, starting to learn about real estate, check out Mark's platform, check out my platform at Relli. Beyond that, if you're a developer looking for capital and you want to scale, maybe you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and you just don't have access to that institutional capital, but you have a high quality product, you have a track record of returns, you want to scale your business, come talk to us because we'll be able to help you get some of that money from this huge new pool of people that are excited to throw money into real estate.
Love it. You need to start your own podcast, by the way, or your own video cast if you haven't already. Great on camera.
Thank you.
Where do people find you right now, anyway, since you don't have one?
Yeah, I mean, look, don't find me, find Relli, okay? Relli.co, Relli.co. That's the place to come find us. You can check us out if you're a developer. You can check us out if you're an investor. You can also check us out if you're a vendor. If you're like a great real estate-based vendor, like a marketer, a real estate agent, a mortgage person, any of those types of real estate adjacent vendors, come talk to us as well because we want to get the best vendors to support our developers in scaling their business. So come find us at Relli.co. We're on Relli.co at Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. You can find us anywhere there, Relli. And then if you want to check me out, my name is Moore, M-O-R, last name Milo, M-I-L-O. I'm very active on LinkedIn, not as much on the other platforms, so come find me.
Yeah, LinkedIn's a place to be these days, so you're in the right spot.
Look,
right.
Just a entire side note. Social media for me, I really like to focus on where's my energy going? And as I mentioned, right, the trends that are in the world, we have a lot of very interesting trends that are just pushing stuff at us. And look, there's a lot of opportunity to go and build yourself as a person and do good things as opposed to focus on all the negative that's out there on social media. I think LinkedIn does a slightly better job than some of the other platforms do.
Love it. All right, Moore, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, Mark. Appreciate the time.